Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Crystal, and you know me here on YouTube as MarauderX, and this is my most anticipated games of 2014 video. Over at Rainfall we did a bunch of what are your most anticipated games of the next year articles, and I figured I could do an article, or I could do a video. And so I'm going to do a video, because you know I do the YouTube thing here, so I figured why not. So I'm just going to talk about these. They're really in no particular order. They are just the games that I'm looking forward to next year. Hopefully they come out next year. Some of them do not have concrete release dates, but I would love for them to come out next year. That would be awesome. Starting off, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. Yeah, I love the Tales games. Symphonia was the first one I got into. Haven't really played the sequel on the Wii, but I'm really looking forward to this one because it's got a little bit extra content. There was a PS2 version of Tales of Symphonia that came out in Japan only that had some extra content. That version is what's being ported over here as a part of this compilation. So, you know, new content is always fun, especially for an old classic, or an old favorite, I should say. Classic may be debatable, but old favorite is where I'm going to go with that one. So, really looking forward to the Symphonia Chronicles, just to have them all in one disc. And a little bit of extra features, you know, play through it all, get the whole story at once. Next up would be another compilation, Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix. I mean, I loved Kingdom Hearts 1.5. It was a great chance to sit there and play Final Mix for the first time without having to, you know, mod a PS2 or download patches or play it on an emulator or anything like that. I was really excited about Final Mix. Very disappointed that that did not come out here in the US. And then Kingdom Hearts 2 did the same thing. It had a Final Mix version that was not in fact released in the US, so the fact that I can play that one, in addition to Birth by Sleep, had a Final Mix that was not released here in the US. So 2.5 HD Remix will have 2 Final Mix and Birth by Sleep Final Mix. That by itself is worth me buying the games for a second time, simply for all the content that I missed out on the first time. But part of me is surprised they did it, part of me is not surprised. Like, if they had not announced 2.5, I would not have been all that surprised. I would have been disappointed, but not all that surprised. But they did, so I was very happy about that. The only thing that I'm still questioning now is why 1.5 and 2.5 are on the PS3, but Kingdom Hearts 3 will be on the Xbox One and PS4. Why? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to buying it anyway, so both 2.5 and 3, but 3's not on this list because I really doubt it'll be a game of 2014. If it was, it would be here right after this one. So, next game for 2014 that I'm looking forward to is Smash Brothers. I mean, is that a surprise or shock to anyone? No, not really. I've been a big fan of Smash Brothers. I never got into it on the N64 until much later. I got into it on the GameCube with Melee, got very, very into it on Melee, so much so that my friends still refuse to play me in Melee sometimes. And then Brawl came out, and I was super excited about that. It's one of the few games that I ever went to a midnight launch of. Played in local tournament for it at the midnight launch, had a lot of fun, but I was very disappointed with a lot of the design choices, like the tripping. No one really liked the tripping mechanic, but it really hurt the game for me. I've still logged a ridiculous amount of hours in Brawl, but it's nowhere near the number of hours that I logged in Melee, simply because of the random whoops, pull over. So I'm hoping that does not make an appearance in this next installment. But either way, they're throwing Mega Man into this next installment, so there's really no way like the only way that they could top that for me is if Smash Brothers had Zero instead of Mega Man, but granted this version of Mega Man looks awesome. He looks like he's going to play fantastically. Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia, and Chrono. Those 3 characters, that would just be an instant buy for me, but so far they've got Mega Man, and that's really all they need. Mega Man and Marth, because, you know, he's my favorite. So, one thing I'm a little disappointed about Smash Brothers is it is coming out on the Wii U and the 3DS, but there's not going to be cross-platform play. I'm a little disappointed on that. I really hope they get around to fixing that and making it so that could be a thing, because I really feel that would make both platforms just even stronger. So, I mean, I know there's two different graphical styles, but if I know they have different stages, so that might be a problem. But if they had the same characters and the same move sets, then I don't see why the characters can't be displayed on one version like its native version the other. So I don't know. I'm not a programmer, and I didn't make that design choice. So next up would be Strider. I saw the little teaser for this one and I lost it. I figured this was one of those games that would have just been lost to history. It would have been just one of those dead franchises, but they're bringing it back. It looks like it's download only. There's not a lot of information on it at the moment, just little bits and pieces. I had no idea. I did not like Strider on the NES, but I played the Genesis version and spent hours and hours on that one. But I really got my Strider hero education from Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, I played that constantly, and I spent a lot of time playing characters with swords, because I figured, you know, if I've got a sword and you don't, I'd have an advantage. Not usually the case in fighting games like that, though. But once I played this character a lot, I went back and started playing the games he came from more, just to have a little bit better of an understanding as why he is like this as a character. And the fact that they are still continuing this franchise, they did not just abandon this franchise, is amazing to me. I'm super excited about this one. Really, really looking forward to this. So, Strider Hero returns with his awesome, like, mouth, cape, guard, sword thing. He's describing him sounds silly, but he's awesome. Next up would be Fire Emblem X Shin Megami Tensei. I was really, really concerned about this title when I first heard about it. It's like, okay, Fire Emblem's a great game. Never really got into the Shin Megami or Persona games. I played a couple of them, but they were just weird to me, and could not see past that long enough to really get into it. And so I'm like, okay, you're mixing these two franchises. What style gameplay is it going to be? Is it going to be a tactical game like Fire Emblem? Is it going to be more traditional JRPG like Shin Megami? What are you doing? How is this working? Especially since these worlds are completely different. Shin Megami typically more modern. Fire Emblem typically more fantasy setting. So, and then I was really concerned with all of the rumors about Atlas when Atlas was put up for auction, or kind of auction, when Index filed for bankruptcy. That kind of made me wonder, is this still going to come out? Is this project still going to happen? And then Sega picked up Atlas, and those fears didn't really go away, because Sega has not really been big on RPG titles, niche titles, or localization in the US for the past year or two for anything that's not a PC title or a Sonic title. So I was really concerned about that, but it seems like it is still going to be a thing. So that's going to be a reason to get a Wii U. So I mean, I'm excited about it. It looks like it's going to be amazing. So I gotta try that one out. Next up, Pure Solar HD. I backed this Kickstarter. I don't back a lot of Kickstarters. I really don't. I've only backed like 5, maybe? And not all of them got funded. But this is one that I had to get. I read up on Pure Solar when it was a Genesis release. I was amazed that people were still making games for the Genesis, let alone custom games. A Genesis cart on with a 64 meg. Like, that's incredible. That's insane and incredible. And I missed the opportunity to buy a Genesis copy. I would have loved to have had a Genesis copy. And then I heard that, oh, we're doing an HD version for the Dreamcast, Steam, Mac, and pretty much everything, depending on what their stretch goals hit. And they hit a good number of stretch goals. So I told my family, it's like, hey, you want to get me something for Christmas this year? Just back the collector's edition of that for the Dreamcast. And they did. And that was my Christmas present. I was super excited about it. And I was also one of the backers. Well, my wife was one of the backers for the soundtrack. I'll just put that up there so that it can be seen. Yeah. I've got the soundtrack. The soundtrack came out already. still waiting on the game. It was delayed, waiting for approval for Microsoft for Xbox Live. So, but I'm really excited to play an indie JRPG for the Dreamcast. It was originally for the Genesis in 2014. The Dreamcast still has a pretty... It's a very tight-knit, small, but still very local and loyal community for still releasing indie-type games. Shoot-'em-ups, fighting games, anything that plays to the Dreamcast strengths. There's still a market for that. It's amazing. And the fact that Pure Solar is now going to join that rank, I'm super stoked about. I can't wait to get the collector's edition and do an unboxing video of that for both my channel and Rainfall. So stay tuned to that when it comes out. And the last game that I'm looking forward to for 2014 may not even come out in 2014. This is the one that I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is going to be Monolith's X. Yeah, we've all seen the trailer for it. The large, gorgeous open world, the giant mech, the mech that turns into a tank that rolls around, the giant dinosaurs. You've just stuffed everything awesome into an RPG and just said, here, have at it. Now, I'm concerned about this one because it may not come out in 2014, and there's no guarantee that a game that is announced at E3 will come out. There's always things that can happen. I'm really trying to not get my hopes up about this one too much, just in case, the bottom drops out and something happens and the project gets canceled or, bad things. But I see it and I'm like, please come out. That looks so good. It looks like it'd be so fun. And Xenoblade Chronicles was so much fun. So I'm really hoping that one comes out, and I'm really hoping it comes out in 2014. So that is my list of games that I'm really looking forward to next year. I know that list is going to expand when we get more announcements of what will come out next year, because I know this time next year we're going to have a whole flood of titles hit the market, because it will be the first Christmas after 2 major consoles have released, so you're going to need to throw a ton of software at it to keep their software and hardware sales up. And then the Wii U will be competing against those 2 titles, so I'm hoping that they also have a flood of titles. So I expect next summer we will hear a lot of rumblings, and my list of games will increase dramatically. But as of now, these are the ones that have been announced, so I'm going to go and drool over screenshots of these things and hope that they come out sooner rather than later. So I will see you guys in 2014 with more games.